Yeah, we're obviously midway through the second week of practice. Feel good about where we are. Obviously, a long way to go. We got 6 weeks or so, give or take, before we tip this thing off and it counts. So, just excited to get to work with these guys. I'll say this: um, through I guess this will be practice number 7. We've had a few days off here in the early part. Um, this group is really eager to learn. They work really hard. We've changed up the way we practice. We do some morning shooting and offensive sessions, which is a little different for us. Just trying to be better offensively, and they've not complained about anything. I mean, boat camp was hard. They got through that, and so I've been really pleased just with um, their willingness to do what the coaches and staff have asked. Although it's been really challenging.
Is there anything that you know more about this week than you did last week, or that the guys have a better understanding of this week than they did last week? Because not a lot of time has passed. But.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really say that. There's so much stuff that you're introducing, and particularly to guys who are gonna, kind of be decision making positions where you got to kind of go through the progression of it. It's slow this time of year, so probably not a ton. We're working some different combinations of guys just to see who works together. So right now it's really just getting a feel for how guys learn, right? In the off season, up until last week, the time limitations don't really give you an opportunity to say, all right, we're going to put you in an 8-minute scrimmage segment, and I'm going to watch how this kind of plays out. Well, now we got, instead of 8 hours a week, we get 20, and we can really be in there for a couple hours at a time, just really grinding through stuff and working on zone offense and working on presses and watching how our lineups flow together and whether guys know how to screen, when guys are open, stuff like that. So it's still early, but I like the progress that we're making so far.
You mentioned changing up the practice schedule for offensive purposes. How much have you done that? How much have you focused this year on improving the offense? Not just by your recruiting standards, but what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know me. I'm fairly honest with our offense had needed surgery, needed major surgery. You can't play this game at a high level and not be able to shoot the ball from the outside, and it wasn't a strength of ours when the numbers bore that out, and it's the reason why even some of the close games we just couldn't get over the hump. It's hard to win if you don't make shots, and so we addressed it from a personnel standpoint, but a style of play standpoint as well. And then, because of that, not only is it new for John Michael, Caleb Asbury, Keon Williams, it's somewhat new for Caleb Boone playing on the perimeter some more and not being asked to be a threat out there. It's different for Avery Anderson and Bryce Thompson, who now will be handling the ball and being decision makers more than they were last year. So it's just, we knew it would take time, which is why we've taken a different approach.
I think last week you told us that early returns on three-point shooting were pretty good. How good, I guess?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't want to, create this illusion that we're all of a sudden the Warriors. We're not the Warriors. We don't have Steph and Clay. We have more guys on the court that you feel are capable of being a threat from the three-point line than we have. And so the proof is on November 7th, right, when we play against somebody else and the officials and people in the stands, like, do they make them? I feel confident that they will. Again, it's hard to deny when you talk about the two guys who you guys talked to today. They did it. They've done it for multiple years. For their careers, being close to 40% is pretty good. Not that either one of them are Thomas Zagua. They're both better athletes than he ever was or dreamed of being. But they're guys that, when we play pick and roll offense, which we'll continue to do with Caleb and Musa, if you help, we kick it out to them, you're not cringing, wondering what's going to happen next.
Is there the versatility you want with this roster too? I know you don't have the length necessarily that you've had in the past, but with the big guys and then now these three-point shooters, is that the versatility that you're looking for?
Yeah, and I want to be careful not to say we don't have length. We're just not as long on the perimeter.
Right.
And we were unusually tall 2 years ago. I mean, our starting backcourt was also sometimes our 4 and 5. I mean, that doesn't happen. So with that being said, we still have good size, particularly on the front court, on the front line. We just don't have as much length. in the backcourt, which is fine. Those guys are tough enough to still defend the way we want, rebound the way we want, and I think the benefit of them is that they're, Caleb, John Michael, and Keon, but all three can really, be a threat from the 3-point line.
Both John Michael and Caleb, when asked about Keon, mentioned, I think John Michael's exact words were, he's all over the place in a good way. And the first thing he said about being all over the place, he loves defense, and which always impresses me. But that said, how has the defensive buy-in been for the first week and a half? Because if it's really good, that would allow you to maybe be comfortable focusing more on the offense.
Yeah, no, I think your point is exactly right. Part of the reason we've also felt confidence in being really, really focused on getting better offensively, we weren't very good there, but our defense has been so staunch. And again, I talked last week, we don't have a lockdown person, right? I don't feel good saying, all right, if we're playing against, if we're playing Steph Curry, we have a good chance if this guy's on him. We got no chance anyway. But the point is, I think our guys understand our defensive system, and the guys who've been here know it works. You don't finish fourth in the country defensive efficiency just because you want to. I mean, especially against the teams in our league who have tremendous talent. So we just had to make some minor tweaks personnel-wise to continue to be good there. Helps to have the rim protection to start of guys who we've had before, and Musa and Caleb, who the top 2 shot blockers in the league, and Tyreek Smith, who's pretty good at it himself. Just getting those other guys to learn. So yeah, it gives us the confidence to then really, really focus on getting better offensively, moving the ball better, making better reads, spacing the floor better, and then ultimately, making shots.
Has Tyreek, he shot a couple of threes early last year. I think he airballed one and maybe didn't shoot one for the next 5 games or something like that. Is that an area of his game he's developed this offseason?
Yeah, I'll be honest, all of them have really worked at it. None of them are guys that I want shooting 5 threes a game. They all can shoot. What I tell them, because they all want to shoot more threes, and what I tell them is, you have to become a great layup maker and a really good free throw shooter first. And then, natural progression, right? Then you can have an opportunity, if you can make shots from those areas, to expand. And to their credit, they all worked at it. I'm comfortable with any of them shooting shots at 3-2-1. I don't feel like, oh man, we're going to take a terrible shot. I don't know, 35, 40% chance that I think it's going to go in. So they've all worked at it, and I think feel comfortable if they're in that situation, they can shoot it.
Q, he's a big guard. He's number 13. He's going to draw a lot of comparisons to Ice. Are there similarities there?
There are. They're very different offensively. He's not as much a primary playmaker. He's more of a secondary attacker. He's a tremendous rebounder. He's a better shooter, frankly. But Ice had to learn too. He's a freshman, and he'll take some lumps, I'm sure, this year at some point. But the thing about him, Ice came in here with 5 other freshmen. Keon's the only one. So he's got more big brothers, more guys to kind of lean on and say, hey, it's going to be okay. You went 0 for 3 today. Don't worry about it. We got to turn around quick and get ready for the next game, which is going to be just as hard. So that'll help him along the way.
Anything else?